G'day mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Chapter 3 just dropped and there is so much being added to the game and I'm going to keep you guys up to date on everything you need to know. What are the new weapons? What's the best new loadouts? Shotguns are effectively useless right now. A lot of people not enjoying the game because of this. I'm going to talk about it and show you guys a few ways you can get around and a few tips and tricks I've picked up that are going to make Chapter 3 so much more fun. We got to talk about this incredible new map. It is absolutely stunning. There is so much to explore, including a few very overpowered drop spots that you guys are going to want to know. Also, we have a few things in the trailer that didn't make it into Chapter 3. There's no dinosaurs, there's no weather events, the Spiderman Mythic isn't in the game yet. There are some crazy new additions that I don't think enough people are talking about. We have the obvious one like sliding, but also rebooting now spawns rifts. You can drop loot while you're downed. We have the new meds, which I think are some of the best med items we've ever had in Fortnite. There's a lot to cover. That's not even half of it, so let's just jump into it. I know I normally post these videos right as the update night comes out, but it was Chapter 3. There is so much new that I wanted to make sure that I spent a solid amount of time playing it. I've now spent about 12 to 15 hours playing the new chapter. I've pretty much been playing it all the way through since it dropped, so I can let you know that everything I talk about today, I've actually tried out and researched. I didn't just try and rush out the video before anyone else to try to get some views but make a bad video. So I'm sorry, I'm like a day late, but I hope you guys appreciate the extra quality today. Let's talk about the map first, because I think this is the most important thing about Chapter 3 and the most exciting thing. I absolutely love the map, and I don't think I'm alone in that. I think a lot of people really enjoy this map. It's not just because it's entirely new. The map is actually fun. There's some really cool new stuff. They've added some permanent mobility around the map. There is now permanent rifts around the map. There's a whole bunch of slipstreams. There's biomes. You guys know how I feel about biomes. We have like this eastern section that's kind of lush and green. We also have the southern section that's like a desert. Obviously, we have the far north and kind of whole western section that's snow. One thing I will point out, a lot of leakers are talking about how the map is actually going to be completely gone of snow, completely melted. I don't know why they're doing this. I feel like they should have the snow at least on a corner of the map, maybe just like the north section. I think the map right now is covered in snow because of the Christmas update that's going to be coming out pretty soon, and I love that. I'm so excited doing a Christmas update, but I want to see the snow stay even once Christmas is over. Again, I like biomes. I think having desert, green, and then some snow would be really cool. It would kind of, have each area have its own unique feel, but either way, once the snow goes, I don't think I'll be too upset. We have so many new drop spots and we have some OG drops coming back. We have Greasy Groves, we have Shifty Shafts, and we have Tilted Towers. Now, you may not have seen this. I actually figured this out within like 30 seconds of looking at the map. I noticed in the middle of the map, there was this very open plain section of the map. You can very clearly see when looking at the map, this is deliberate. It's the one section that there is absolutely nothing there. Well, there's a lot there actually. There is Tilted Towers lurking beneath the snow. It is waiting to be exposed. We know this 100%. First off, we were talking about it like maybe it's Tilted Towers. You can see the ice cubes. You can see the trees. A lot of us like putting grid layouts to check and it worked out. But we now can see that actually week 8, there are challenges for Tilted Towers. That means that by week 8, Tilted Towers will be melted and it will be exposed, which is so exciting. I love they've brought back like 3 of the really OG drops that are really fun, but they haven't made an entire OG map. I think they're doing a very good job of, catering to what people want with a bit of, that OG nostalgia feel, but not making an entirely old map that gets boring and stale really quickly. And they picked 3 really good drops. Greasy, Shifty, and Tilted is amazing, and Tilted being smack bang in the middle of the map is going to be so incredibly fun, and I think it's really cool. We have quite a long season on our hands. This season is looking like it's going to take about 3 months. It's going to be until late March when this season ends, so having these updates throughout the season, like Tilted becoming exposed, is going to be really cool, and it's going to keep things fresh. Also, I'm not going to do an entire drop spot video, and this is sadly going to ruin what is a solo drop for me that is just letting me absolutely farm wins right now, but hey, I'll give you guys the best solo drop on the map already. It is the Crackshot House. It is just to the south of the new Logjam or Lumberyard area. You land there. There are 3 chest spawns under a Christmas tree and 2 in the roofs. That's 5 chest spawns. There's 1 next to it on the wharf, which is 6 chest spawns. And then wait for it. If you travel to the southwest, there is actually a little farmhouse that has a guaranteed llama. A 100% llama spawn. So I get 6 chests, or 7 chests if you count the one in the llama, and the llama within about a minute every single game. So I've ruined my own drop spot for a little bit, but if you guys are struggling to find solo dubs, make sure you drop there. I guarantee you'll absolutely pop off. There is also Logjam to the north, so you have guaranteed max wood after you get the llama. But going back to the rest of the map, it's really, really fun. I love the new Bugle location. It is so incredibly cool. The Spiderman Mythic, not currently in the game, but the drop spot itself is really fun. Big open buildings. The spider webs are really fun to bounce around on and go crazy. I also like how much kind of verticality you get, but also how much horizontal control in the air you have with the Spider-Man web pads. They're really, really cool. Obviously, we have our new area with the 7. We kind of have our new sanctuary spot where you can go and get the Mythic. I will warn you, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is not messing around. The Foundation is a nightmare to kill. If you want to get your hands on the new Mythic AR, which is honestly one of the most disgusting guns we've ever had in the game, I would highly recommend building up a ramp, getting a harpoon, pulling him up, and making him die to full damage. Because unless you're an absolute demigod, taking Dwayne Johnson down as a solo is an absolute nightmare. It's honestly as hard as what I think taking down Dwayne Johnson in real life would be. He is a beast. We've had Kit, we've had Brutus, you know, we've had Sky before. I've died to those guys plenty of times, and I'm not too, I'll admit it, you know, we've all died to those guys. The Rock, the Foundation, is a whole nother level of ridiculous. If you're going to go fight him for the Mythic, make sure you have a harpoon. Other than that, I'm sure you guys are playing the map, you've experienced it, you know it's incredibly fun. Like I said, there's rifts near the middle of the map, near the lake areas. There's permanent rifts there, which are really, really fun. Other than that, we have quad crashes back to get around the map. There's vehicles everywhere. Just, I haven't even experienced, like maybe, I've probably gone to about 3/4 of the spots on the map. I'm kind of maining a couple ones here and there, but this map, I don't think it's just because it's new. It's better than Chapter 2, and I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think this map is better than the Chapter 2 map, or do you think just because it's fresh and new? Because ultimately, whatever your complaints about the season, whether you hate the meta right now, whether the shotguns are terrible, I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, you've got to admit they hit the map. They nailed it. The map is literally, in my opinion, perfect or close to perfect. All right, let's get into talking about the new weapons. And now this is a very heated topic. Some people absolutely loving the new meta, some people absolutely hating it. And before I talk about why that is, let me just give my thoughts on it. Every time there's a new season or a new chapter, there's always going to be an element of adapting that some people aren't going to like. And then there's going to be a lot of people telling them they just need to adapt, and there's no right for them to complain. Right now, I genuinely think this meta is terrible when it comes to competitive and players who are trying to play to get better. It's a very unskillful meta, but it's very, very good for casuals. And if you adapt that and you play around with it and just have a bit of fun, you can really, really enjoy it. So I don't think this whole video is gonna be me just slamming the meta, saying this chapter is terrible. I just think that I'm someone who can offer kind of two inputs. While I think the meta could be a lot better when it comes to, you know, pro players and getting better at the game, I do see a lot of fun in it, and honestly, the meta suits me very, very well. So what do I mean by this? Well, right now, the time to kill is as low as it's ever been. It is so fast to be able to eliminate players right now. It is ridiculous. And this is because of two weapons, the MK7 assault rifle and the brand new Stinger SMG. Both these guns are insane. The MK7 assault rifle is just 10 times better than the Ranger assault rifle. If you want my advice, run the MK7. I will run a gray MK7 over a legendary Ranger assault rifle. And I'm not kidding. The MK7 with the red dot sight, if you can control the recoil, and if you can't do it right now, keep practicing. It's worth it. You can absolutely delete people. I love sniping. I always have. You guys see my montages. You know I love a good snipe. I'm not even running the sniper right now because I can do consistently more damage with the MK7 assault rifle, even at long range, than I can with the sniper. It is ridiculous. As for the actual SMG, the Stinger SMG, I am currently running 2 Stinger SMGs in my loadout and no shotgun, because the new shotguns, as you probably experienced, aren't the greatest. We have the auto shotgun and we have the striker pump shotgun. The striker pump shotgun, in my opinion, is the better of the two. It feels a bit more like a pump, but it just does not hit hard enough, and it's very, very clunky. The second shot seems to have a really long delay on it. It also seems to have a delay after editing, whereas the auto shotgun's a lot faster, a lot more fluid, but it just hits for absolutely nothing. So I'm literally running an MK7 assault rifle and 2 Stinger SMGs as my loadout for weapons, and then double meds. That pretty much says everything you need to know. And I'm getting consistent 10 to 15 elim wins in arena. Like, that is the best way to play right now. And I know it sounds crazy, and I know a lot of people aren't going to be happy about that, but until they buff the shotguns or nerf the SMGs, there is no reason to run those shotguns. I can jump in with my Stinger SMG and just absolutely melt you, or I can just shoot you through walls because the fire rate is so high, the bullets bleed through walls, kind of like the rapid fire SMG. The only downside to the SMGs is the fact that you go through the clip clip really fast, and there's a really long reload time. So that's why I run 2 of them. And honestly, if I have to get in with the MK7 assault rifle, I'm fine with that too, because it has such a fast fire rate and the hip fire is so good. So you can see why a lot of pros and a lot of players are really unhappy, because they like the shotgun meta. They want to go for skillful angles and peaks and edits, and they want to go for piece control. That is not the meta right now. But I truly think that's because Epic is trying to cater to casuals. They want to cater to people who haven't played the game for a while, or brand new people coming to try out Chapter 3 to capitalize on that hype. They know that people who have been playing for a long time will probably stick around for a few weeks to see if the meta gets better. Comp players will definitely stick around, but they know they've only got a few days or a week or even one game to capture those casuals back. So they want to put SMGs and ARs in the game that are a lot better, and absolutely delete people that make piece control and, let's be honest, skillful gameplay harder. I know people keep telling me, no, but like you have to track the player, so like that's skillful. And I get that. But right now, players come up to my wall, they edit, I just run through with an SMG. It takes so much less skill than what it does to full piece. I want to go for good angles with shotguns, and that's fine. We want the casuals to come back and play the game. We want the content creators to come back and play the game. I think it's fine right now to have the meta be very casually focused. When we have this beginning period, have some fun, try to let go of the ego, know that you're probably going to die a lot to stupid things. You're going to get beamed by a guy with an MK7 assault rifle. You can have someone jump on your head with the SMG. Yes, it might be frustrating. I fully understand that, but at the same time, it's a brand new chapter. Lots of things to explore. Try to take it easy and try to have a bit of fun with it, because that's what the casuals are doing. And honestly, from what I can hear, the casuals love it. So I understand where Epic's coming from. I do hope before tournaments come back, they can balance it a bit. It is just way too easy to kill people right now. If someone's waiting for you and they have you set up with the MK7, you are gone. Like, unless their aim is terrible, you are gone, and they'll just keep bleeding shots through your walls. So the meta right now is interesting. One change that I really do love is they brought snipers back, but they significantly nerfed the headshot damage. There is not a single sniper in the game, including the legendary, that one-shot headshots, which is very cool for competitive, which I like. I think that's a great change. But again, the MK7 assault rifle is so disgustingly strong. I'm not even running the sniper rifle because I can do more damage with the MK7. So my tip to you right now, if you're frustrated, if you're not enjoying the game, you don't know what's going on, try double SMG and let me know how you go. Come back to the comments after you give it a go and tell me if I was right. Apply pressure, be smart about when you push on people, but have no fear. Know that your damage will melt them in a millisecond if they don't melt you back. I just jump into people's faces with a shotgun now and I win every time. So you might not like that meta, but if you want to win and you want to have more fun right now, that is what I'd recommend. The Spiderman Mythic, unfortunately, isn't currently in the game. It looks really cool. It's the web slinging. Apparently, it was in the game for a little bit, and it got hot fixed out, so I didn't get a chance to try that, so I can't really give my opinions on that one as well. The new meds are really cool. I forget the names of a couple of them, so I apologize. The one that you drink that heals you until you take damage, it's kind of like the old slurp juice, is really cool, and I love this item because they've added an item that I think is really good for pubs, arena, and fighting, but it's not good for heal off. As soon as you take damage, the heal effect is gone. So trying to go for heal off, so that will not work. We also have the new like spray mist med thing. That's very cool. You get to hold it down and it heals you for 5 damage a tick until it runs out, and you can do it while running. So it makes healing for white meds a lot more fluid in fights, and I like that. If usually previously, if you got hit, you would pop your shields, you'd pop minis and maybe a big pot, but you almost never had time to get a med kit off. Maybe if you had floppers, and bandages weren't worth it. So having something that lets you heal for white health and only heal a little bit at a time, it makes these box fights really fun and really cool. If we have, you know, the adjustments to the AR and the SMG, we have that damage nerfed a little bit, brought down a little bit, maybe the shotgun's damage buffed a little bit, and we have these new meds. I could actually see it being really fun. I will warn you, there is a glitch right now though with the spray med. If you're using it, it goes down to about 5. Get rid of it. If you let it go to 0, sometimes it glitches and you can't let go of it. You're holding on to it, you can't build, you can't shoot, you can't do anything. So try to avoid that one if you can as well. That's one of the only glitches I've found. Other than that, the loot pool is pretty cool. We still have harpoons in the game, so we still have a lot of fishing. We have launch pads for mobility, but that's really about it. We don't actually have any extra mobility. This is a very low carryable mobility meta, which some people like, but again, right now it means running away from people just jumping into your boxes with SMGs is quite hard. We'll see how competitive goes for duos with only launch pads for mobility, but overall you still have peppers in the game, you have spicy fish, but no shockwaves, no crash pads, no shadow bombs, nothing like that. Obviously, the big new mechanic, I have to address the sliding. How does it feel and how does it work? So far, I don't really care that much about it. I know that sounds crazy. It's just something that I'm not that interested by. I slide down hills to go a little bit faster, but I'm not like trying to slide in my fights and go for crazy angles. Everyone I'm fighting, no one's really sliding. So for me, it hasn't had that big of an impact. If anything, I'm actually enjoying it less because it's making my crouch slower. Because the way the game works now is it's like every time you press crouch, it's like, oh, you about to slide? No? Okay, then we'll crouch. So it slows it down because the way you crouch is just by sprinting and then holding slide. Well, holding crouch, which makes you slide. But when it comes to box fights, and a lot of times I will actually accidentally slide, which is what I really didn't want and I talked about and I was worried about coming into this chapter. Quite often if someone like drives past me or I hear someone around a hill, I will run up and then crouch to get a good angle on them. Quite often now I'm running up, crouch, and I just slide towards them or I slide away. And it is a little bit frustrating. I really think they could fix this by just putting slide on an entirely different button. Yes, that would be very frustrating for controller players. I get that, but I still think that there should be some way to adjust this. Maybe again, controller players, they can, you can currently adjust the time to go up and down for how long you hold it to then slide. I've just turned mine way up so I never accidentally slide. That could be a setting for you guys to play around with if you're accidentally sliding around like I am, but I just wish there was a way to just not slide. Maybe a setting where I can just turn it off because yes, sliding down hills is cool to go a bit faster, but for all the negatives that I'm getting, it's just not worth it for me personally. I know a lot of comp players torn, they don't like it because it messes with box fighting, but at the same time saying that sliding is very good for dodging bullets and having inconsistent movement so people can't snipe you, which I get, but I don't really want to look like Warzone. Have you ever watched the Warzone stream when they're trying super hard? Run, slide, cancel, jump, run, slide, cancel. It's just so jarring and it looks really funny. In Fortnite, because the FOV keeps going in and out, it looks even weirder when you do it in game and I'm just not a fan of it. So I don't mind sliding because some of you guys love it. You can do some fun, cool stuff. I've seen some clips with it, but I just wish maybe I could turn it off. Even if it puts me at a disadvantage, I'm willing to turn it off if I just don't like it. So that's my stance on sliding so far. Do you guys like it? Do you dislike it? I don't know. Now, there's a couple, or I'd say 2 or 3 huge things missing from the trailer that aren't in Chapter 3 that I'm really sad about. If you guys watched my stream at all when I was waiting around for the chapter to launch, you already know my absolute fascination and love with Terry. This is Terry. I know some other people are calling him Jerry. This is Terry, at least as far as my community goes, and whenever I refer to him, I'll be calling this Terry. And I'm very, very excited to meet Terry, but unfortunately, he's not in Chapter 3. Well, he is in Chapter 3. He's asleep. If you go to certain areas around the map, there's just giant piles of snow, and there's like a little kind of hole in them, and you can hear like a breathing sound. That's Terry. Apparently, he's taken a nap in the snow, and I'm guessing he's going to come out later in Chapter 3, just like Tilted Towers. So I can't really give you any info. I don't know if you can ride it. Don't know if he's hostile. Don't know how it works because we haven't got a chance to play around with it yet. The other big one that was leaked in the trailer we haven't seen yet is the tornado and the lightning storms. The weather effects just aren't in the game. Don't know why. Not a single person has seen them. We haven't had any word. We haven't been told whether they're going to come later in the season. It just looks like there is no weather effects. It's a bit sad because those were 2 things I was really excited for. The weather effects and Terry. They were 2 of the massive things as part of this chapter that had me really hyped. But alternatively, I also really like that Epic is saving some stuff up their sleeve to keep this season fresh and fun. Like I said, if it's going to go till late March, I'm going to want some things to keep me engaged. And if we have, 2-3 weeks goes by and all of a sudden there's a huge thing around Terry and he's there and you go there and you jump on him and you can ride him into battle, then a few more weeks goes by or a month and then we have tornadoes appearing on the map, then we have Tilted coming. Like, I think it's really cool that Epic is keeping some stuff up their sleeves. I just wish they didn't show it in the trailer then, so we weren't waiting for it or looking for it or getting super excited. But that's just my 2 cents. Either way, it's looking really, really cool and I'm very scared for the weather effects, but hey, it is what it is. I'll wait. The other big concern a lot of us had was this new Unreal Engine 5 and how it was going to perform and how it was going to look. Now, the physics of like breaking the trees and they fall hasn't been that big of a deal. There's only certain trees in certain sections that do that, and I've seen like 1 clip floating around. I'm sorry, I can't actually find it again, of like the tree falling on someone and damaging them. But other than that, it doesn't really do that much. But one thing that's really annoyed a lot of people is we've gone back to like Chapter 1 where it comes to the build detection around trees, and you can't actually build through the trees, the ones that fall over anyway. So some trees you can, a lot of trees you can't, and it's very frustrating. It feels a bit like Chapter 1, feels really, really clunky, and honestly, it's one of the only negatives that I've had about the chapter so far. I feel like we shouldn't be going backwards when it comes to just how fluid the game feels. It's Fortnite. I should be able to build anywhere and go wherever I want. If I get near a tree, all of a sudden I'm falling and I can't build a floor, and I try to build a stair and I got to turn around. It just feels like we're going backwards back to chapter 1 when you couldn't build through any structures, and it was really, really frustrating to fight around certain places. So not super happy about that. As far as how Unreal Engine is just performing in general, my frames have not been good. In the old chapter, before the corruption started, I could hold 360 FPS consistently. Now I'm usually holding around like 200-ish, dumping down to about 100 very commonly. I know you guys on console on 60. I get it. I'm not complaining about my frames. I'm just giving you a reference point to compare how it's not doing too well. But some people telling me that their PCs and their settings are doing better, so I don't know. I've got an Intel i9 12th gen, literally the best CPU you can buy on the market right now, so I have no clue why I'm getting such unstable and inconsistent frames. I'm going to play around a little bit tomorrow with my settings, maybe go, performance mode, high mesh, low mesh, DX12, and I'll jump around and I'll test it all out, and maybe I can make a video in the next few days on, the best settings and things like that. But Unreal Engine already seems to be... It's interesting. It's not causing any major issues. I'm sure if they didn't tell most players we were going to Unreal Engine 5, a lot of people wouldn't have even noticed. I just noticed I pay a lot of attention to my settings. But as far as the new things being added, like the physics of the trees falling and stuff like that, it hasn't caused any huge issues. This new tent mechanic, I'm gonna have to play around with a little bit more. I haven't really had enough time to experience it because you need gold to do it in arena, but it's in pubs, and you don't need gold to do it in pubs. But honestly, because you have to carry the tent, then you throw it down, then you put the weapons inside it, it just hasn't really felt that smooth to me. It's not something I've been doing a lot of, and in pubs, I don't really care that much about keeping my good weapon into the next round. So it's something I'll play around a little bit more, and maybe I'll talk about in a future video. As far as how it affects competitive, it seems like you have to pay money to put it in, but then I don't know if you have to pay money to take it out in arena, because I just don't have that much gold in arena. So I hope that's how it works, because I don't want you to be able to take loadouts into tournaments in arena. That makes no sense. With pubs, it's a cool concept, but like I said, I think the fact that you have to find the tent, carry the tent, put down the tent, put the weapon in the tent, then grab something else, and the tent, it just doesn't feel that fun. But hey, they're trying something different, and I don't like it, so I just don't run it. It's not like it's a huge deal. It does also have the added bonus of being able to rest in the tent, which is cool. It heals for 5 health a second, so it's very, very strong for healing. It's basically just a better campfire. You can't do it in Storm, which is good, because otherwise it would lead to crazy Storm heal off strats. And yeah, it's a big factor of the new chapter that for me, while being a cool concept, and I like that Epic's trying new things, I just don't think it's that impactful on the game, so I don't really have that much to say. I don't believe this is a deliberate change, but shakedown is no longer in chapter 3. You can't shake down opponents. You can't get information on where their teammates are. Again, I have to assume this isn't deliberate, but don't really know why Epic's done that. When you reboot teammates now, instead of them popping up on the reboot van, they actually drop out of a really small rift in the sky that's quite low to the ground, but they can still travel pretty far. And overall, again, a change that I didn't really expect or want, but I'm pretty happy they did. A lot of times when you reboot a teammate, you just get the reboot off and you get full triple rush. They box you in and they're just box fighting and you go down anyway. At least this way you can, try to disengage, get out. You can, go back to your loot pile if it's nearby, or find some loot. It gives you more options, and it's more in line like a lot of games that have a reboot. Or, Call of Duty has a gulag system. Apex Legends, when you bring someone back in, they drop out of, a plane in the sky. So it seems like they're going for that kind of a vibe, and honestly, I like it. The new crown mechanic is pretty cool. It's what I thought it was. It's a bit of a flex, but it's a bit different to how I thought it was going to work though. In duos, it looks like if you come first or second, you get the crown going into your next game. If you get top 4 in solos, you get the crown going into your next game. And then if you get a win with it, that counts towards your crowns, and it's your total crowns of the season. I thought it was like just a thing to flex on a spree, like you win 8 in a row and you can show it off, but you lose and it goes away. But no, it seems to be a thing where it's showing off if you win once you get one. Also, if you eliminate a player who had a crown, you then get theirs, so you get a chance to go on and win with that crown. So it's a little bit cool. It really doesn't have a huge effect on the game in my opinion, but it's a bit of a flex, and I like that. And I was playing with some games of Muselk today, and it seems like he was flexing on me, and then when we had the crowns, we tried a bit harder to win. So it adds an extra element to the game. It's nothing game breaking. It's nothing like I've been asking about as far as proper progression and being able to flex some kind of a rank. That doesn't exist, but at the same time, it doesn't hurt anything again, so it's a bit of fun. Alright guys, that does it for another video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please chuck a like on it. Let me know in the comments section down below your thoughts on anything I talked about today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.